Oh, yeah, there he is. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Hive. Josh Boyce on the PA system right now. And I got to tell you, it's exciting times here right now. Lee Bazeley back joining me.
Most definitely. I get a lot of people were kind of wishing that we wouldn't be here tonight,
Well,
that we would have taken it in 4. I'm kind of torn. I'm very happy to, I think everyone's expecting the Sting to close out round 1
I would
tonight.
say that for sure is a good guess. That being said, talk about taking it in 4. Kitchener takes out Windsor 4, sweep them right out. And I don't think anybody saw that coming.
No, nobody's. Well, it's definitely an upset that's beyond what anyone could comprehend that was actually going to happen. It is literally the very first time in the history of the entire OHL that the 8th-seeded team has swept the first-seeded team in the first round of the OHL playoffs.
Wow, and that just goes to show you that playoff hockey, I was talking to some of my friends here that are here and have been here all season. They're like, playoffs is a whole new season.
Oh, yeah, it's like you hit the reset button and anything can happen. Like, everyone's got their expectations, and lots of times, things kind of go along the way that it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But, yeah, anything can happen. And it's like you said, it's a whole different game.
And that kind of goes to show to prove last night. Obviously, we're here because of a loss in Guelph, 5-4. I do have to say it was a pretty good game, and the Sting's heart went right to the end because there was a goal right like 30 seconds before it was over. There was another goal, and that set us at 5-4. But just coming up a little bit short. Nolan Dillingham, 4-game suspension. I got to say, I would have said 2. I do think that it was right to give him something, but I wonder if the 4-game. We played Owen Sound here, and he had hit somebody there. They took him away on a stretcher, which, by the way, that person later that night, they took him to the hospital. He walked out of there. They're just taking precautions, but had a concussion, or concussion precautions, right? But I wonder if that being so close to this one played any part in the decision to have 4 games.
I think it probably did because, they took a look at that. They reviewed it. They were going to toss him on that game. Then once after they reviewed it, they realized, as forceful and as damaging as it was a clean hit.
Yeah.
So they took that away. But, it's almost like they wanted to throw a little something at him for that in addition.
And they did make a decision right away. I find like the OHL tends to wait a game. Did you notice that?
Yeah, it's
they win a game and then now I don't know. I don't know how it works. It's the branch and a couple guys up top that look at it and go, okay, this is a decision.
Yeah, it's definitely a long wait for that. And, they had it was public knowledge anyway that he was suspended indefinitely, for a good, couple of days or so before they announced the 4 games. I think, they could have, it happened early in the first period when they kicked the ball. They could have given him game misconduct then and then maybe one more. And that's like pretty much almost a 2-game suspension. I think that would have been more than enough because we've seen other players in this first round have been handed out 1-game suspensions and 2-game suspensions for what has looked like, I don't know if it's a lot more serious, but it definitely looked a lot more intentional.
Well, right, that and players who have been suspended before.
Yeah.
Nolan Dillingham's never been suspended before, so I don't know, who knows how they make the decision? I think that's the thing that the fans and even some of the folks who work around the OHL, they kind of get a little frustrated because there's nobody really understands what the process is.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing laid out that says, okay, we look at this, and this, and based on it, they just make a decision, and that's the way it's going to be.
We need to get some guest commentary in here from some experts that work in the offices high up at the OHL to kind of let us know what the mindset behind some of these decisions are and why it takes so long.
Right. Well, Game 5 will get underway shortly, but I got to wonder now. This is the crunch time. Sarnia Sting should come out really clean on this one, but again, it being OHL playoffs, you never know what can happen. And the Guelph is just as hungry. I believe they're really hungry to take this to a game number 7.
I think, when they went down 3-0, that kind of lit a fire under them, and they showed us, last night, and probably again we'll see more of that tonight. They're not going to roll over and let the Sting just, walk right over them on the way to round 2. They're going to put up a fight. It's going to be a good game. There's nothing is guaranteed here. As much as everyone in this building tonight that has a B on their chest wants to believe it, nothing's a guarantee, and we could see us go deeper into this round.
Yeah.
I don't believe it could happen, but I would not be surprised if it did, because Guelph is, like you said, they're very hungry now.
They're a force.
It took that 3-0 deficit to kind of maybe make them realize just how hungry they are and how badly they want this. But they're back in this series, and they definitely want this, and they're going hard for it.
For sure. Nolan Burkoff last night against Guelph, and I think that probably had a significant impact on that game as well. Not to take away from anybody else that's on that team, but he certainly stands out on this team. And I think he should be back here tonight, from what I understand. He was just feeling under the weather. That was what I was told.
He was out on the ice for warm-up, so I do believe he's going to be
all
in the
right, I
lineup
didn't
for
catch
tonight.
that. So there you go. I would say I didn't see him on the canceled list anyway. So that's good that he's back, because we're really going to need him tonight. Ben Gaudreau, who's been standing on his head for all this season, for the most part, had some tough times at the World Juniors, and he fully admitted that, and then came back, turned things around here with the Sarnia Sting. He really had a rough night last night. Even at one point, we saw him tossing a water bottle at the Sarnia Sting bench. So he was definitely frustrated.
And I mean, now's not the time to let that happen yourself. I mean, it's hard not to, obviously.
Sure.
And I shouldn't say now's not the time to let it, because we've only seen that happen with him, I think, maybe twice this whole entire season. So it's just unfortunate, the timing of it, that it did happen, here in the playoffs. But I mean, he's always rebounded really well from bad nights and come back on the subsequent nights and been the Ben Gaudreau that we know and that we love. And whatever was bothering him last night, whatever was getting to him last night that wasn't allowing him to be 100% on his game, I don't think that's going to be an issue here tonight.
No, I agree. And I say that not to take anything away from him. I just meant he was very visible with his emotions last night, and that's playoff emotion, and that's young man emotion going on there too, right? Sure. Because he's a big part of this team that has been a part of the big success that this team has had here this year as well. He's done great for us. So happy to see him back here tonight. Nick Strzika, though, stepping in last night. We really couldn't ask for a much better second-line goalie than this guy.
We've talked about Nick Strzika, several times over the course of the season, and blown away by the skill level. Just how good he is, and for him to be our number 2 guy, it's like this guy is. I wouldn't be surprised to see him. I mean, as much as I would hate to see it, gone to another team next year to be their number 1, because he deserves to be the number 1 goalie with how good that he can be.
That's the bitter sweetness of the OHL
it
too,
is,
right?
Yeah.
It's like players getting called up, and then next year the good ones go away. Yeah, but everybody's got to deal with that. But for this season, he certainly has done us well, and it's great to have him there. So Sarnia Sting have got to be hungry tonight after what happened last night. There were a lot of frustrations there, but 5-4, not a shameful score. So let's see what they bring out to the ice coming up here in about 9.5 minutes. But do you think Guelph has got to, they seem to have changed their strategy every single game. There was no consistency in the strategy for Guelph Storm.
And that might have been a strategy in itself, just to kind of throw Sarnia off its game. And from every game that I've seen here so far, while it's been frustrating and a little bit, it's only lasted the first 2-3 minutes of the game.
Right.
The Sarnia Sting have kind of adapted to that, and they learn how to deal with it very, very quickly, almost every one of these games. So they can come out with new strategies every game, but it's not working for them. It hasn't thus far. And after a victory there for the Guelph Storm last night, we talked about a fire being lit under the Guelph Storm and how they came out hard last night. I think that loss for Sarnia last night is going to light a fire under them, and it's going to make them realize that, we can't take anything for granted. We can't guarantee that round 2 has already got our spot reserved. They got to work hard for it, and we're going to see that here tonight. After that loss last night, I mean, that's going to be the catalyst.
I think you're right for sure. And the thing that you point out there too is that we have seen those games where the first 2-3 minutes was like, what's going on, guys? But they catch on quick, and they turn it around really well. And, we've always sort of picked on this thing in the sense of saying their second period has been their best. But I think as of late, they had an 8-game run streak here earlier in the season. And now to the point they're at here now, they've really earned the spot that they're at here, sitting third. But everybody has the question, who do you think we're going to end up playing next? And I think at one point we would have said Windsor, but now that they're gone, do we, could be Kitchener next, could be.
Well, I think we're going to be playing the winner of this series, I believe, goes on to play the winner of the Saginaw Flint series.
Right.
And they're playing their game 5 tonight as well, with Saginaw leading that series 3-1. So the way it's looking, if you play the odds, it looks like Sarnia's going to be playing Saginaw in round 2.
There you go. Well, it's exciting times. Looking forward to getting to round 2. I know the Sarnia Sting are excited. The fans are excited. They got here, I got one of these again. Got one of these so I can wave that around or whatever. And then what else I got here? They give me all this stuff, Lee. I came here. Do you want a clapper? You probably got a clapper.
We probably got 3 of them down at our seats. So
we got this here. All right. Go Sting, go. Make some noise. Right?
My son loves those things because when you fold them up and make them into little clappers, they make a lot of noise, and he loves to do that.
Give him that one. Then he's got one in each hand to annoy Dad.
He's got one in each hand and a spare one down there.
There you go. It's great to see the families out here. We talk about more than a game, and I know I've said it last time too, Lee, but I think it's important to remind this community just the huge impact that this team has had on this community. We've come out of a pandemic. I think there's a lot of people that are still recovering from that, although the masks are gone. Typically, we're out, but this has offered this community a lot of positive hope and a coming together. You've said it before. For just a few hours, we're all here and getting along. There's no politics. It's just hockey, and I think that's important for this team, regardless of the outcome, to understand the impact they've had on this community.
Most definitely. Speaking personally for myself, I know that I'm not back to normal from where I was before. But stepping into this building, being able to experience this, getting out to see friends, getting to see crowds like this gather again, like you said, seeing the families out having a good time, the kids having a good time. This is the kind of thing that people need to fully get past that. We're almost there. We're almost through it to the other side. But there's a lot of people that are still kind of struggling with it. There's a lot of people that are still not fully gotten past it. I know I'm one of them. I still have lots of leftover stuff happening because of that thing that I'm looking forward to getting over. What better way to kind of help take those steps than a big crowd coming together for a community, cheering on a team that has been a part of this community now for pushing 30 years.
I know, right?
And having one of the greatest seasons ever. So there's no, it's almost poetic.
Right. Good way to put that. Thanks for sharing that, Lee. All right, let's get ready. Sarnia Sting getting ready to be out here in just a few moments' time. Lee will be joining me for the rest of the night here. I'm not sure if there's going to be post-game tonight or not. I think when we win tonight at the end of a series, the OHL does their own thing, so we may or may not. I'll get an update on that, but regardless, there will be some sort of post-game. It just might not be where we normally are, so watch out for that. All right, thanks, Lee. He'll be back here again at the end of the first period, and we're going to get out there and watch some great hockey. Live from the Sarnia Sting concourse, I'm David Burrows. This is my friend Lee Bazeley. 3, 2, 1, go Sting, go!